Look at what they did to President Trump. The Russian collusion hoax ruined lives. And now documents released today appear to confirm what so many critics of the FBI and the DOJ had been claiming, that at the time, acting Attorney General Dana Bonte served as a yes man, willing to sign any surveillance order brought to him. He admits to being the man who signed the second Carter Page FISA application. Page was a low-level Trump campaign aide, you may remember. The surveillance operation onto him was later determined to be invalid by the DOJ in 2019. Here's what Bonte told the Senate committee that we uncovered out of these hundreds of pages. He says, quote, "There was a 10-day period from the time Mrs. Yates left the department until Attorney General Sessions was confirmed. I think I was the only one at the time who had the ability to sign the FISA. So I signed all the applications in that 10-day gap." You can only imagine what was happening. They were bringing him application after application. That right there, what he says, is the definition of a yes man. And people's lives were ruined because of it, all to aid and protect Hillary Clinton. They ruined Carter Page's reputation at the time, leaking to the media he was a Russian asset. It all turned out to be bogus. Former acting AG Bonte now admits if he knew what he knew now, he would not have signed it. It's why Lindsey Graham called the Crossfire Hurricane investigation, quote, "one of the most incompetent and corrupt investigations in the history of the FBI and DOJ." Now I want to bring in someone with firsthand knowledge of political abuses by the FBI, former Trump foreign policy advisor and author of the book Deep State Target: How I Got Caught in the Crosshairs of the Plot to Bring Down President Trump, convicted of a felony. George Papadopoulos, a man pardoned of that felony by President Trump, thankfully. George, it's good to see you, my friend. Thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me, Graham. Great to see you, too.
So, you know, George, we were also expecting the declassification from President Trump of more Russiagate documents. You released a powerful tweet today. What do you expect to come out from all of these documents we're seeing come into public's eye now?
Well, the biggest takeaway I took from this first batch of declassified documents, because just to be clear, this is a first batch, there's still a lot of information that still has to come out, is that the Comey FBI and the Department of Justice, who initiated Crossfire Hurricane, and the special counsel who then continued it and tried to cover up this egregious misconduct and illegal spying by the Comey FBI and likely the Brennan CIA, will go down in infamy, in my opinion, for tarnishing the reputation of the FBI as a nonpartisan institution. The evidence overwhelmingly suggests that the Comey FBI and the Department of Justice under the Obama administration was hell-bent on spying and setting up the Trump campaign in order to assure that if President Trump was elected like he was, that they would be able to handcuff him from being unable to properly govern the country. And that's what I think the evidence suggests from these declassified documents and what the Mueller investigation was really all about.
And when you think about that, even into the president's term, that is the definition of a coup attempt. If you're using bogus information and a weaponized government to take out a either potential president or president at the time.
Absolutely. And what we actually learned from the declassified documents as well is this infamous Christopher Steele, who we now know was a paid agent, former MI6 agent, was seen by the FBI leadership itself in the summer of 2016 as simply somebody who was propagating propaganda and opposition research, and he should have never been taken seriously, yet the FBI continued to be briefed by him. We then learned that the key antagonist in this story, Joseph Mifsud, was known to have been connected to Italian intelligence and working with Western intelligence affiliates, something the FBI knew, yet they continued to portray this individual as a Russian agent all the way through Mueller's investigation. And finally, you mentioned Carter Page at the beginning of the segment. They miraculously lost the Woods file that underpinned the so-called evidence to have obtained this faulty FISA warrant against him that not only upended his life, but allowed the FBI to spy on the entire campaign by extension. So This information that Lindsey Graham released to the public, I completely agree with him. It demonstrates how illegal, illicit, and egregious the misconduct under the Comey FBI really was. And unfortunately, they have yet to be held accountable. And that's something that I think millions of Americans are still waiting for right now.
Yeah, you know, and I believe that the future documents to release, maybe Monday we will get them, will shed a lot of light on James Comey. We know he played a role in this, and I'm hopeful that I think it may shed a light on even Joe Biden and Barack Obama, that they may have had a role in all of this as well. I'll give you the last word, George.
I happen to unfortunately agree with you. And the reason I say unfortunately is because I think all Americans should be horrified that the upper echelons of a previous administration would actively interfere in the peaceful transfer of power between the Obama administration to the Trump administration. The Trump administration has been on defense since day one. They have fought back against illegal spying, a special counsel investigation, which we now know was completely baseless, an impeachment sham, and now yet again another impeachment sham. All I think this does is drive.
Well, I'll tell you what, George, it's going to be more of the same. And that I can almost make a guarantee of, and that is an absolute travesty. George Papadopoulos, great to see you. Have a great weekend, and I'm sure we'll get you back on the program soon. Always great having you on.
You too. Thanks so much, Brent.